Well, that was weird. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of The Wealth Around Us. Today we're going to do a little lesson. I'm just on the winch here, and as you can see, I've got trail breaking gear and everything, and that's what we're going to discuss today is terminologies of trails and Native American skill I learned a long time ago back in Omaha and in Council Bluffs about trail breaking. First of all, let's put her in. Excuse me, I'm going to use my hand here to put on the emergency brake so that I can get off of it. But here is the parcel of woods that's going to be Camp 2. And just wanted to go over some great stuff to have with you. First of all, if you're trying to beat the heat, that is outside the box as it can get, but that is an O2 Cool. Look them up. I mean, you can get these for like $9 on Amazon, but it is a fan mister system. And I'm telling you, it's the difference between a headache and frosty nipples. It really is. I mean, it's a huge, huge godsend when you're out in the beaten sun, or like I was today, you know, jumping off and doing work and then jumping back onto a hot four-wheeler. And it was like 80 something today, and it's rough work, especially in the humid. But we're about to take a ride down to the camp. And I need my right hand to do this, so we're going to be using just the back brake, it's good. They've just got pads on them, but okay. Enough talking. Let's go ahead, and I'm going to hold the camera as steady as I can for you. And I'm going to discuss blazing a trail. You might wonder where the term comes from. Well, if you will note the 4 marks on that tree, those are blaze marks. And what the Native Americans used to do when they would be going into woods they weren't familiar with, I am a little bit familiar with these woods, but I haven't explored them all yet. And we haven't broke out a trail big enough to get the four-wheeler and trailer out, because we are about to do a really cool shelter. I'm going to get my buddy out, Brian, tomorrow, and we'll probably have a new episode of all doing that. We've been going back there and, you know, burning off a lot of the crap and clearing ground and clearing trail, but we're going to go ahead and I'm going to show you how I marked my way in there. You will notice on these trees that there are blaze marks on all of them, just 3. But even in the dark, with a flashlight or, you know, a torch or something, even with your fingers, it makes finding your way around a lot easier. We're going to be moving logs like this. Woo! But I went back here today, and you will see everywhere I went. Well, first of all, I was picking up stuff. You will notice how I came back here. It's picking up stuff that's going to be good kindling. Like stuff like that. It's going to be awesome firewood. There is so much firewood back here that I don't feel that fire is ever going to be a problem, even when it's raining. And I'll be honest with you guys, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. There is standing wood for days, just dead standing wood. There's one widowmaker bastard, and I'll show you him in a second when we come up to him. But that, I'm really worried about that one, and because it's looking like he's ready to come down any day now, and it's a bad situation. It's got woodpeckers in it. Here, you can see the top of it right here. But that tree right there is a widow-making MFer. I mean, that is, I've seen it 100 times where a tree hit like that has fallen on something, like somebody's car. A friend of mine, Carrie, in my old neighborhood, we had one like that on his property, and it fell on a 72 Camaro he had bought from a kid and got screwed on it. And on top of that, it's sitting in the driveway broken down, and then a tree like that fell on it. And they are capable of killing groups of men, if not, you know, destroying all kinds of stuff you've worked around, and it is on the trails. So getting back to it, we're going to move here, and I'm going to show you the blaze marks. But they are, you can run your finger down that tree and you can feel where the 4 marks are. And everywhere along this trail we go, you're going to see blaze marks. Thus the term blazing a trail. Breaking a trail is what I was doing earlier today with the cane knife, my good double bit axe, and one of these outside of the box things that I'm sure a lot of people don't carry on a four-wheeler or even in their truck, and they really should, is bolt cutters and loppers. Limb loppers like this are excellent for breaking a trail because that's the main tool I use. We used to saw, we used to machete, and we started whacking on some of these saplings, and like guys like this one right here, you can take that razor sharp cane knife, and I mean it is razor edged and really hard steel, so it doesn't get dull very quick, and just work it on these little saplings, and all they do is absorb the impact like a Shaolin monk. You can whack and whack and whack and whack on these little hardwood saplings, and they're not going nowhere. Machete ain't taking them down. You get your double bit axe out, you start biting chunks out of it, it still doesn't go down, and it resists you to the very last swing. This guy here made short work, and I mean such short work that I probably did this in about 15 minutes. Got down there, and when I came back up, I blazed it so that we could tell where we've been. Now it's more evident where the trail is. As you can see, there's no little saplings, and you can also see where I've set up all the good stuff that I run across. It's going to make good firewood. I just set that up on the trees so it would get nice and dry before I mess with it. And there's a couple more pieces there, but you'll see when we get down to the camp, there is no shortage of firewood, and I'm going to ride up. And again, blaze marks 3 by 3s. I start out by 4, and then I go to 2. You see the first tree I showed you, it had 4 blaze marks on it, and they're always facing toward the trail so that those on the trail are going to be able to see where those blaze marks are, at around head level. You want to put them where they're very evident. But here, okay, now look at this, people. This is a that's a big old, that bark's got big shaggy, so that's a pine that has died back here. And I'm trying to protect you from the sun because the sun's not favoring this shot, but you can see my concern and why I want to maybe get this widow-making bastard right here down, because that is hanging right the hell over the trail, and if the trailer were to whack it or something like that, I'm not certain that 500-600 pounds of whole log wouldn't just snap the hell right off and land on you with those spears and kill you. So I'm going to see what I can do about getting this tree down, but as you can see, it's a little bit hard. It's going to be a little bit hard because it's got a widowmaker at the top of it that bows back up toward you. So there's no safe place to stand up underneath here. The only other thing I can think of is running a line up to it and getting farther out from it than it will be able to fall and pull it down with the winch. That's what I'm thinking I might do. Shoot a arrow up there with some line to it and try to run, because you're not going to get up on either one of those trees. They're both widow-making sons of bitches, and I don't like that. But here we've got 5, and this is actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so this is 6 point. They're going to start going back to 3s this way. So we know we're halfway in the dark on this, and you can put your fingers on it and actually read how many notches are in that tree. And this is just a very primitive form of trail marking and identification. Like, see, we go back to 3 now. Now I know we're at the bottom end of it, even in the dark. Because out here, believe it or not, in the dark, this place got disorienting as hell. Me and Brian had this is our first time in, and we had a bad time. We had to basically break trail in the dark with me pulling a 4-wheeler along at inches, and I was like, we're not going to do that again. So there's more of the kindling that I saw on the trail, but just beautiful stuff. And up ahead, this is why I'm saying, I mean, there's logs that are off the ground like that, not even barely moist. If we took an axe to that, that'd be nice, stiff, hard wood. Took the chainsaw to a couple pieces, and it's hard to cut. It's tough stuff, so it makes real dense, great fire. The fire we had down there last time was better than any fire we had over there at the pine break, and that's just because the nature of the beast. It's a hardwood. This is a hardwood forest rather than a pine break, and there's not a lot of resources in a pine break to work with, and that's one of the reasons I wanted to go over there and challenge myself and do build a wiki up when there's nothing but pine poles and pine straw to make it with. But over here, this is going to be a totally new chapter in the wealth around us, because we can do just about anything you see on the internet or down out in the woods. Look at that beautiful red bud. All the buds are starting to come out, so this is going to be some really great footage. Real great skills. We're going to be having some classes out here. Put her in low. And there's 3. And we'll winch these logs out of the way eventually. And when we know we're near the camp when there's the river cane. And I'm just going to take a second to show you this down tree. But this is our firewood source. Now somebody has come out here and cut a couple of logs and didn't even bother to take them off. That's an oak. So we may take a couple of those down to the camp, one of them, and use it for a sitting block or a chopping block. That might be what we do like we did at the other camp. But this is an absolutely rotund oak tree. It just fell over right there at the hill. I guess it was on a bad spot. I'm going to go investigate that spot a little bit and see if it unearthed anything cool like rocks or stuff like that. 'Cause you'd be surprised what you find up under an uprooted tree of that age. But it fell. Now it was big and broad like so, and when it fell, it turned onto its branches, so it's real clean on this side. But on the other side, and that'll be another video, I'll show you, there is like a field, just a huge pile of firewood that's been held up off the ground, as you see right there. All that stuff is just dry as a bone, even though it's got mushrooms and lichens and stuff on it from years of sitting here. It catches fire like, I mean, it's like pocket tinder or something. I mean, it goes right up and burns real hot, and then you throw a couple of logs on and they sit there and burn all night. Last fire we had from that went up so easily that we were like looking at each other like, wow, we should have got that on video, because and I did get it on pictures of it, but the fire went up so well out here that we're never going to have a problem with anything fire related we're doing. So that's 1, fire. 2 is this beautiful spring-fed Finger Creek down here by camp. And let's just go ahead and take her on in. And again, 3 blaze marks. And you got to kind of be brave on the 4-wheeler to get it down here. But that's it. We've got a couple of neat things going. We got like this right here we're going to do something with. We kept what poles, you know, the wealth around us is all about using what's around you to your advantage. So we kept all the poles we cut down and everything like that. We will reuse those in the shelter. We've got fallen logs to work with, which are just excellent. We've got this big fallen log. We may go make a John Brown style little pod. You know, they call them a pod shelter where they're piled up. He wants to make one of those, so we might do that over there, because underneath that log is going to be a hell of a lot safer than being up under some of these widow-making ass branches up here. That's my main concern out here, is some of these widow-makers. And you can still see that widowmaker over there, man. I mean, you see how it's got the curve in it too? And so there is no good way to get up there, and you're not climbing the tree next to it, because it looks just as bad. But yeah, that thing's full of woodpecker holes up at the top, and I feel that if you were to bring it down, half might snap back. I mean, there's no telling. The best thing I can think of is getting a line around it and pull it down from a distance, nice safe distance, and then break it up and bring it down for firewood. But here's the camp. And everything we needed, including the rocks. I told him, I said, I don't see any rock in that creek. So we're going to have to go find rocks. And he went, I was blown away. I was like, where in the hell did you find rocks that fast? But he went right there, and there's a line of natural quartz rock leading all the way up. And we could we'll probably build an oven or something like that out of creek mud and fire it and everything. But there's a million things we can do down here. Nice clean water. There's crayfish in there. It comes out of a spring on the other side of the woods. Way off down there, if you follow it all the way up, it's just burbling out of the ground. There's no smell, no oily sheen or anything on it. I do believe this is a federally protected waterway, or there's several systems of them in this particular spot in this town. So, oh yeah, and there's also a famous hot springs. There's a natural hot springs over across town that the president used to go to. One of the old presidents, like Coolidge or something like that. I can't remember. But there's a lot of great resources here. Like, check this out. fiddleheads. And they're a little too old, but there's more coming up. Then we'll be able to find them. But man, yeah, there's fiddlehead around here. Ooh, ow. I just banged my head on the crossbar. And that's the fire pit he made. Did a pretty good job. In my honest opinion, it worked real good for us. As you can see, the dry logs around here are just dense enough to burn and just old enough to be easily broken up. And this is how we've been breaking our wood up. This is like a half dead, half. It's still alive down here, but it's weird. It's like hollowed out, and there's spiders and stuff living in it. But we've been able to hang our bags on there. And this knot right here, you just take the wood and I saw it on another video on the internet where you just pick up a log and smack her on there and break it into pieces instead of sit there and saw your head off or whack with an axe for hours. It makes real short work of getting good firewood real fast. And as you can see from camp, it's only up that hill, and I want to break another trail up into that hill to do that episode. But I mean to tell you, there's like 2 dump truckloads of firewood here, literally just here. We can start cutting some off of that log anytime we want. Go up there to the roots. There's good fat wood up there that had been dried for a few years. It itself could be the good startings of a shelter. All this river cane is useful for cordage and arrows, and we've even got this stuff. And I saved just one bush just for you guys, just because we are always about the wealth around us. We saved this one bush because not only is greenbriar edible, it makes great cordage, and it's useful for several things, including pissing you off really bad. But this place is fraught with greenbriar, and I was showing him like some of these mutant strains of it. They don't even have thorns like that. They've got like microscopic fur of jagged thorns that is sure to cause an infection if it scrapes you. I mean, they're just, as a plant, it's a bastard, and I hate it. But you can identify greenbriar. It does see these little ends right here? The ends of like big thick greenbriar plants and these little soft leaves like that, those are edible. The root stock is bitter, but it's edible. The American Indians used to dry it out and use it as a thickener in stews and soups and whatnot. I have seen dudes with backhoes be doing like clearing work. They go to dig out a big greenbriar bush and they come out with like a torso-sized tuber. So they can, depending on the bush, they can provide you some pretty good calories. I think I'm just going to taste me. I've heard it tastes like asparagus. There's a new discovery today on the Wealth Around Us, folks. Greenbriar leaves, like babies like that. They're sweet. That is an excellent little trailside nibble there. See, I've been studying up on this plant because I want to either like eradicate it from the earth or find a good use for it. And I have found a couple good uses for it. When someone told me it was edible, I was like, what? But it's true. The ends and these little edible leaves and stuff like this on them, they don't have an, and they're soft and pliable. Those are a completely, as a survival and visual, there's a seriously edible business. But they are. They're totally edible. And they taste good. They're sweet. Yeah, that is like yum. I wish I could find a bigger piece of greenbriar because they say the soft ends of big vines are a lot like asparagus. I'm going to identify this plant. Maybe you guys want to tell me what this plant is too, but this is coming up all over this area. I wanted to know a little bit more about those. It looks like something I've seen at Home Depot. And here's a one crossbeam. I'm not so sure how we're going to go with this shelter, but we're looking at, this is going to be the 1 footer of it. We may burn this log, but there's still going to be a footer there, whether we have to dig it out or trench it or whatnot. We've already got the fire pit situated there, and this is pretty much a level spot. This is the most level spot right here. So we were wanting to do the sleeping arrangements and situation. Now we might incorporate this in the shelter because it's alive, like we did at the other one. There's 3 trees that it grows on. This is a live tree. It's a live tree, and all that other tree is alive too. That one's dead because we cut it down. But we've got some of these poles and stuff out here starting, And that's basically going to be the frame out. But you can see it's going to be a big shelter. I mean, it's going to be like a cabin in the woods. I read a book the other day, and I forget the title, but I've read it several times, and it was about this kid who goes out into the woods and builds himself a shelter in a tree and lives out there for a season and gets away from society. And that's what it's going to be like. It's going to be like, I forget the name of it. I got to get that book out. But yeah, we're going to go exploring up in these woods and see what we can see. There's an old deer stand. It's like Brian was saying, that looks so rickety I wouldn't even climb it. No, I agree with him. That thing is it's real moist out here because of this creek and the microclimate. But as you can hear, other than that, there is a U-line over there, and they have this like constant vacuum system, and you can hear it roaring in their back parking lot. But other than that, I don't mind a little noise. A little background noise never hurt nobody. As long as we get some of this beauty. I mean, this is like, I don't know, like 40-something acres of just pristine. Like no one's been back here in decades except for me and him. And there's these guys that came back and lumberjacked a tree about that size when it fell. And I had to hand it to him. I was like, you guys know your stuff. I mean, because apparently, like, dude heated his house with, he had a bunch of wood stoves. And he just couldn't pass it up. But they went out there and, like, took, like, three different trips. A day apiece. I mean, they lumberjacked. Had to been a good 2 tons of wood. That tree was absolutely enormous. So we'll go up there and that'll be another video. And I'll show you the aftermath of their lumberjacking. But they really did a job on that tree. We've got natural stone coming out of the hills and just all kinds of great stuff going on back here. So thanks for watching, everybody. I think I'm going to go hail London on my gigantic CB mask. But there's more to come. So always remember, there's a wealth around you. Stay safe.